In a recent Sentosa Development Corporation survey done with 600 Singaporeans and permanent residents, more than 52% felt stuck in their daily routine and 74% wished they could spend more time with families and loved ones. But interestingly, half of them said that they were stressed by the thought of having nothing to do, while 3 in 10 said they didn't know how to relax. To discuss about these results, I have here with me Joanna Seow, the Straits Times manpower correspondent. Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
Can you elaborate more on the survey results?
Sure. So I guess they show that some of us really find it difficult to take a break or switch off and relax. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, the part where they said they didn't know how to relax, because I can think of many ways to relax.
Well, I would probably be one of these people because I find it quite hard to relax. And even on my way to work today, when I could have been slacking off, I was checking my email, my work email. So the findings also tie in with other reports about stress and burnout and work-life balance over the years. For instance, in another survey, 62% of Singaporeans said they weren't getting enough sleep. There have been more teens seeking help at IMH for school-related stress. And ST and TAFEP did a survey recently which found that from 2014 to 2018, more workers will actually consider leaving their jobs, leaving their companies if they weren't given work-life options. So it's against this backdrop that this whole idea of work-life harmony has come to the fore. And there's going to be a new citizens panel set up to look for ideas on how to improve it.
So you brought up work-life harmony, and we all already know what work-life balance is, but there's a difference between the two. Can you elaborate on that as well?
Yeah, so when you say balance, it kind of implies that you want work and life to be separate parts and that you want them to be equal. But harmony implies that there's a more fluid mix between the two. So for instance, for some people, work may be so enjoyable that it melts into the leisure part of their life. Whereas for others, maybe you want to spend a lot more time on volunteering than going to work. But the fact is that people mostly do know that having a good mix of work and life is good for them, like what the survey showed. So it's good for your mental well-being, and experts also say that being well rested is good for your productivity at work. So, but maybe even though we do know that it's good to have a mix, some of us are not that great at switching off and taking a break, mentally and emotionally disconnecting from work. And bearing in mind that work could be in the office, or it could be outdoors, or it could even be at home for stay-at-home parents. It's not that easy to just take a break. So that's what struck me most about the results.
So why was this survey commissioned? Why did you want to find out what people want to do in their free time?
Well, I guess Sentosa Development Corporation wanted to look at how people in Singapore view leisure, and I guess that makes sense because they are a leisure destination. So they did say that they want to see how they can help Singaporeans to take a break more, given that they have the facilities to facilitate that. And I think they also said that it applies to tourists too. Because in other societies which are advancing rapidly, there could be a lot of pressure and people could feel stressed as well. So they also do want to look at how they can encourage tourists to use Sentosa to take a break.
Of course, there are many other ways to relax other than going to Sentosa, but if it helps you relax, why not, right? So work-life harmony, it can be achievable, right, if bosses and employees are on the same page about rest and work expectations. But certainly the individual has to be responsible and conscious of how they use their own time, right?
Yeah, well, bosses can play a role by being empathetic and toning down their demands on work being done after hours or in the weekends. So like set deadlines on Thursdays and Fridays instead of on a Monday, so your people don't have to work over the weekend. And then don't text people after office hours. Because even if you don't expect a reply, people might feel pressured and have this thought lurking at the back of their mind that they have something to do. And I know some companies who have like a radio silence policy, so people are not supposed to text, not supposed to WhatsApp, not supposed to email about work after office hours or on weekends. So I think that's a good place to start. But yeah, as you said, individuals can help themselves by making choices about how they spend their time and what to prioritize, whether it's work or family or health. And of course, the priorities can change over time as well.
Now you have something interesting from what a professor said from NUS. Can you share more about it?
Yeah, so yesterday in discussing the findings, Associate Professor Tan Eun-seo from NUS, what he said was that maybe we should be satisfied with being good enough at whatever we're doing. So a good enough parent, a good enough worker, rather than striving to be so super at everything. So even though we may not be the best or the most, most successful super parent or super master violin player, we can still be excellent overall and not in some silos of our life. So we can be successful, well-rounded individuals leading meaningful and enjoyable lives.
Thank you so much, Joanna, for sharing and for that advice as well. Perhaps this weekend would be a good time for some of us to put this into practice, myself included. Those were our top stories for the day. For more news and videos, do log on to straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Alyssa. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday for more big stories.